James says you will see the best technical version of Errol Spence because he has to be versus Terrence Crawford. Now, I'm confused. You know, I thought Terrence Crawford wasn't that good. Like, Derrick James and Errol Spence is sending so many just different mixed signals. Mostly Errol Spence been on the, you know, slander Bud bandwagon. You know, that's kind of what tip he been on. But now Errol Spence got to be the best technical version of himself just to beat Terrence Crawford, which he said Terrence Crawford wasn't that good. Who he knocked out, what he done. He ain't did this, he ain't did that. Now he got to be the best version. Errol Spence got to be the best version of himself to be the best technical version of himself. And eventually I'm gonna get to that breakdown. Hopefully it'll be this weekend, man. Y'all know I covered the Bumgardner fight. This past weekend, so shout out to Matchroom, by the way. But nonetheless, now he got to be the best technical version of himself. Like, dude, don't switch up now. Y'all said Crawford wasn't shitty, too small, who he beat, who he done knocked out. Now you got to be the best. Now Daniel's son has to be the best. Wax on, wax off, Errol's son. Like, fuck out of here. Get out of here, man. And I told y'all, man, I don't feel like he's that technically great. That's just some shit that they say. Just watch the tape. He make a lot of fundamental and technical mistakes. And I said that leading up to the Mikey fight, that I felt Mikey was the more fundamentally and technically sound fighter. And people was asking me why, man. Just watch. Errol Spence ain't technically sound like that, bro. Like, I'm not saying that he's not fundamental. People just use that as an excuse because he don't have flash in the pen. You don't really need flash in the pen. You know what I'm saying? He don't have a great hook or a great overhand right or nothing like that. Or he ain't flashy with the head movement of foot, but he's solid. And the most dangerous thing about him, he knows it. So he knows his strengths and his weaknesses. He knows his limitations and when he can rise it up. Now, what Artem did to Frank Martin, could that be a blueprint or something that Terrence Crawford could do to Errol Spence? Absolutely. You know, some people saying, well, Frank Martin need to be his own fighter and not try to beat Errol Spence and shit like that, and he fight just like him. But he has some physical gifts that Errol Spence don't, with his natural athleticism. A little bit faster. He's lighter though. Dude, that's how you handle that style. You press them. You know, you press them, but you know you gotta have great condition to press those type of guys. Because one thing about Derrick James fighters, they gonna be conditioned and they durable. Their durability is great. So all they gonna try to do is just if you doing that in the beginning with that Artem was doing to Frank Martin, what they gonna do is just once you start to fade or get tired, then they gonna just step it up. Or they just count on that one punch to change the whole trajectory of the fight, if that's a swollen eye, if that's a cut to bother you, or some type of adversity. But we haven't seen his fighters deal with a bunch of adversity in the ring. And that's why, like, as far as cuts and swelling, because they very durable, and their defense usually is better than what people give him credit for. But when you talk about, him being technical, he square up and make a lot of mistakes for somebody to be so technical. And I'll show this on film if I can get it. I'm definitely going to try to get around to it on Saturday or Sunday. You know, and if you talk about technically, fundamentally, like, he squares up a bunch right in the pocket. When he throw that left hand and he throwing it to hurt you, he squares up. That's why Ugas was able to have success. Yeah, he bring his hands back home. He go into this fundamental high guard and shit. But he squares, he gives you a complete target. He squares straight up. His shoulders is not pointed. He's squaring straight up, and then on the inside, he stands straight up on the inside. He don't know how to make the target smaller, get down where he can get better leverage. He's standing straight up, punching like a mummy. Versus somebody that know what they doing, he gonna get hurt doing that. So it's a lot of fundamental and technically things that he don't do that I noticed that great. he getting away with it because how big he is, and he may get away with it versus Terrence Crawford. Who's to know until we actually see the fight? But my whole thing is, like, which one is it? Is the nigga trash, or is Terrence Crawford is really good? Because if he got to be the best technical version of himself and Errol Spence, because he has to be, then like I said before, I mean, hey, that's just letting you know that they really believe they got a tough fight. You know, that's letting them know that they really got a tough fight. And sometimes you got to take little inserts like that, or you got to just read between the lines when you talking about, you know, you talk about these guys. Real talk. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. They know they in tough. They know they in tough. They know they in tough. And sometimes you just gotta read between the lines. Or you gotta take inserts like this, because he has to be, okay, he gotta be the best technical version of himself. And you planning on them pressure building diamonds, we cool with that. But don't sit here and then downplay your opponent, right? And downplay your opponent, and then after the fight, try to give full credit. You know? And let's not act like Terrence Crawford don't have a level of technique as well, too. You know, just because some people do things unconventional don't mean they don't have technique. Take Pernell Whitaker, for example. He did a lot of things unconventional to the naked eye, got low. They banned people getting that low, I think, because of Pernell Whitaker. But Pernell Whitaker was able to fight, you know, late in his career, and I felt that he beat Oscar De La Hoya. He was able to fight late into his career, and because he had fundamentals, he was technically sound. So just because you got athleticism and you do things, you know, off, you know, to some people consider unconventional, or you slick or whatever, that don't take nothing away from you being a good technical fighter. We seen Terrence Crawford be able to be technical. Versus Victor Posto, he fought a very interesting fight. And I think if all goes, you know, if all ain't going well for him, I think you can try to see him use his leg. And at 35, about to be 36, I agree. I got questions about that. Can he fight the fight that he fought versus Victor Posto? Because Victor Posto, just as, you know, as far as height, he may be a little bit taller than Errol Spence as far as height. He not as rangy as Errol Spence, but, you know, can Bud at 35, about to be 36, use his legs if need to be? Because Errol Spence got his version of that upright style too. He has a version of the upright style. And Terrence Crawford was able to use that lateral in and out movement to take away, you know, Victor Postal's in the check hook, to take away Victor Postal's, you know, lead hand. And that's the only time we've seen him fight like that. But then again, like I said before, a lot of these dudes ain't really had to get in their bag yet. You know? So you don't really know what these dudes can do, because Errol and Terrence ain't been tested on this level yet. It's the first time they've been tested. And that's why I think it was smart for Errol Spence to take that Keith Thurman fight, because he would have been tested to a certain degree. So, because Keith gonna move. But Bud might not move. At welterweight, he ain't been moving. But let's not act like he ain't got a level of technique neither. And if his technique might be better than Errol Spence's technique, to be honest. You know, once I kind of think about it, it might be. But a lot of people ain't ready for that conversation. You know, a lot of people ain't ready for that conversation. But like I continue to say, man, they both good fighters, but come on, man. You don't have to, unless you really feel that way, because I'm not against people telling the truth. Unless you really feel like he ain't shit, cool. Go ahead and say he ain't shit, but don't go around when you win saying I should be #1 because you guys said this and said that. No, you said the dude was trash, so don't expect to get, you know, to get this pomp and circumstance type of fucking treatment like you walking across the stage. You know, and that's probably how Derrick James really feel about fighting Crawford. He said he got to be the best technical version on boxing scene because he has to be to a bunch of reporters. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. They might have to go off script in this fight. You just never know. So, you know, it is what it is. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notification. Hit the link tree. Find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Check out my new channel, Free Game 89. That link there as well too. Amazon Music, the whole 9. Appreciate the love and support. One time for the one time, Goodfella TV. Peace.